Hi, I'm Anita Grenier, and today I'm going to make the most delicious lemon coconut pound cake you'll ever eat. I have made this recipe for many years. In fact, about 30 years ago, I guess it was, my mother asked me one year what I wanted for Christmas, and I didn't know what to tell her. But I happened to be flipping through the Williams-Sonoma magazine, and I saw this cathedral bundt cake pan, and I thought, this could be a really fancy cake. So I bought it, and with the recipe, with the cake pan came the recipe. It was a Martha Stewart recipe for this lemon coconut pound cake, and I've been making it ever since. In fact, I've never made another cake in this bundt pan. It's the only cake I'll ever make in this bundt pan. So get you a fancy bundt pan. If not, just use a regular bundt pan. The cake will still be delicious. Okay, so let me tell you what you'll need for this recipe. You need 3 cups of cake flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 sticks of unsalted butter, and this has to be at room temperature, 6 ounces of cream cheese, 5 eggs at room temperature, 1/2 teaspoon of lemon extract, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3 tablespoons of pure unsweetened coconut. Of course, fresh coconut is the best, but if you can't get fresh at the time, you can buy it in the bag, the unsweetened type, or sweetened. A teaspoon of freshly grated lemon zest, and then you're going to do a glaze for the cake after, and that's going to be a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice, 2/3 cup of sugar, and 1/3 cup of fresh mint leaves. Okay, so let's get started. First thing you're going to do is prepare your bundt pan. So I just use the Baker's Joy and spray it handsomely, and then set it to the side. Okay, I'm going to take my trusty old sifter here, and I'm going to put 3 cups of cake flour in here. Now, cake flour is going to make your cake really light and fluffy, but now that we're going to sift it, it's even going to make it better. 3 cups of cake flour and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so you're going to sift that and make this little mound. Okay, go ahead and set your oven for 325. Preheat it and put your rack on the lower third of your oven. Now, with the flat paddle beater, so you're going to cream together your butter and your Philadelphia cream cheese, and then you're going to add your sugar. Okay, once that's all mixed, then we're going to add our eggs one at a time. We're going to add our lemon flavoring and then our vanilla flavoring. 1/2 teaspoon of each. Add our lemon zest. All mixed up, then we're going to lower our speed, and we're going to add about 1/2 of our flour. About 1/2 of your flour in there. Then what you want to do is add your coconut milk, and that's 3 tablespoons. So you add your coconut milk, between the shredded coconut and then the coconut milk, you better like coconut for this cake. Now, I will tell you that this is my sister's favorite cake, and I've been making it for years for her, and she refers to it as my cake. And when I make it for someone else, she always wants to know where it's going and why am I making her cake for someone else. Ooh, I'm making a mess over here. All right, it's flour. Flour makes a mess. Okay, now this is all mixed up. And now I'm going to add my coconut. Get that all blended in. And then that's it. And this batter is delicious. You might not even want to bake the cake, you might just want to eat the batter. Put this into our prepared bundt pan. And I know you know this little trick of wrapping it to make sure you don't have any air bubbles. Make sure you don't have any air. So now, depending on your oven, how hot it runs, you should bake this for at least 50 to 60 minutes, and sometimes as long as an hour and 10 minutes. So usually after about 55 minutes, I check it with a toothpick to make sure it's cooked on the inside. Okay, so I will see you when that's finished baking. Okay, when we take our cake out of the oven, we're going to let it cool on a wire rack for about 10-12 minutes or so till you can touch it. And while that's cooling, I'm going to go ahead and make my glaze. Okay, so what we're doing here, we're going to melt a 2/3 cup of sugar with a 1/2 cup of water and the juice of about a 1/2 lemon. And we're just going to melt that down until our sugar is dissolved. Once the sugar is dissolved, you're going to add your sprigs of mint. It says about 1/3 cup, just about 3 or 4 sprigs of mint. So once that's all dissolved, we're just going to let that sit and cool just a tad bit, and then we're going to add it to our cake. When your cake is a little cooled, we're going to take it and invert it over a wire rack with some parchment paper underneath. So you just take your cake, take your wire rack, and then just invert it. Now, what I usually do is take some sort of, and with a lot of prayers, you pick it up. Voila, a beautiful cake. After you invert it, then you're going to puncture it with some toothpick or wooden stick. Make a couple holes here and there, like so. And then you're going to take your sugar and lemon and mint, and you're just going to brush it on the top. And this is going to kind of seep into it, into your cake. And that's why you want to put that wax paper underneath, because it will make a little bit of a mess. And I'm going to let this cool completely before I move it to the cake plate. Okay, so now this cake is completely cooled, and I'm going to pick it up and place it on this platter. Beautiful. After it's completely cooled, I'll sprinkle it with powdered sugar. Kind of accentuates the little cathedral points. And then I might just take a couple of little leaves of peppermint and just place it on the edge. I might go all the way around or just do a little accent. So this is one beautiful coconut lemon pound cake that I know anyone that you serve it to will enjoy it. I hope you like this cake.